this was tragic news and very sad news to get today about Dickey Betts' passing, and I had the honor and privilege to play in his band for 10 years, which constitutes some of the greatest experiences of my life as a musician. And it was a blessing to get to know him personally and to call him a friend. And that's how it starts, and then I start to tell the story a little bit about who Dickey Betts is and why he is revered the way he deserves to be. And then just some great stories of, personal stories about my experiences with him. So, it's difficult, but, a eulogy is also supposed to celebrate the person's life, right? And so it's intended to be that as well. There's some funny stories, and I'll give you one quickly if you want to hear one that's kind of cool. There's a million things that came into my mind, but one that just sort of reflected how sweet he could be. Dickey had this reputation for being, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, for being a complicated person and not always the easiest person to get along with. But he could also be the sweetest person and the nicest person you've ever known, and very generous. And just a funny example, one that popped in my head, and I hadn't put it in the chapter, was I think in 2002 or 3, it was before he asked me to join his band. We were on the phone, and his birthday was coming up, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come down if you're not busy? Do you want to come down for my birthday and celebrate my birthday with me and the family?" And I said, "Yeah, that would be great." And so, Alan, I don't even know if you know the story. So I went down, and I was the only non-family member at this gathering. It was not a big gathering at his house. His daughter, Kimberly, was there with the grandkids and a few other people, but, all family. And it was very nice, and Dickey was in a great mood, and they had a big birthday cake, so I don't know. If it was 2002 or 3, he was only 60 or 59. And anyway, I went outside at one point just to call my wife. And I'm sitting outside on the phone, and then the door opens, and there's Dickey with this plate and this big piece of birthday cake. And he goes, "I was looking for you. Don't you want some birthday cake?" And I'm thinking, like, it's his birthday party with his family, and like he went looking for me just to bring me a piece of birthday cake, And he's like, "What are you doing? Don't you want some cake?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that would be terrific." And so it's such a nice story of like how he was, and what it could be like. And I spent a lot of time talking with him and sitting with him on the bus, and he talked a lot about what happened in the fallout of being kicked out of the Allman Brothers, and very emotional. And so, what can I say? He was one of my heroes from when I was a kid, someone I never thought I would get to know or certainly get to play with, and then to become his friend, be his guitar player in his band for 10 years, play well over 200 shows, and travel the world. And we're all Dickey Betts fans, right? I got to stand a foot away from him. Where'd that come from? I got to stand a foot away from him and hear him play night after night. And some of those nights were just, without exaggeration, some of the greatest guitar playing I've ever heard in my life. So it's a blessing, and very sad news today.